So do you have any other questions about all of this?
Well, I did. So, okay. So first of all, we met when I was like 5 because my mother was going to University of Utah, right? And she joined your class Drum Talk.
Yep.
So, um,
And you and your brother and
being like,
sister were
what's
little,
going on?
little squirts. I remember your dad brought in your sister in his arms one time.
Yep. Yep. And so what's so fun too about your work is incorporating the instruments and the drums. I mean, drums are for me so healing. And so when we did our last session, for example, you bringing in the different instruments along with the toning was like just icing on the cake. It's amazing.
It amazes me that this works over 2 computers, and you had your headphones in, right?
Yeah, the sound was like...
It's just amazing to me that I never would have thought that this kind of sensitive work would, to teach is one thing, but to have this sound session, but it seems to work for everybody.
Yeah. Yeah, and the bells and the chimes and the rattles and the drums, it's like this full body, full range experience. It's just awesome.
Now, do you practice your drums at all?
I do. I have a drum, and I hadn't touched my drum for a couple years. But recently I went to a ceremony and they had drums and rattles, and it just ignited my passion and my excitement for the drum again. So yeah,
movement, and drums do go with this voice business like hand in a glove, it's, that's awesome.
And it's the same thing to be able to drum without judgment or expectation and just to let it flow and not worry like, oh, am I rhythmic or whatever. It's like super healing. It's super freeing. It's like liberating.
What's cool about drumming and vocal toning is that, I teach it the same way we do these skills. Like, okay, here's a skill, and now here's a different skill, and just do it. It's like push-ups or pull-ups, just do it. But then, when you're drumming, it's like the simplest things really support the toning.
Yeah.
It's like if we think of like just drumming as 100%, when I'm drumming and toning, I'm drumming at like 20%. I don't have to do a lot for it to be helpful to my toning.
Mm-hmm.
And so it's like I'm accompaniment for myself. And it's, people seem to like it, but it helps me. So I say this to you, when you are doing your toning, just remember that your drum, the simplest little things, it doesn't have to be on all the time, banging. It's just like, thump, thump. And we don't have to worry about steady beats, and we don't have to worry about 4/4. I mean, if you like to play in 4/4 with a steady beat, that's fine. But in toning, we don't have to. It can be like impressionistic painting, where it's not, so about numbers all the time. And I know you know how to do that because I've heard you play your harp, and I know you have background. and so sometimes when we have background in music, it's harder to do this toning because we have to let go of the way we were trained to read the music, get it nice, get the audition, get in the orchestra, to perform on stage, to go to the competition, to win the prize. Toning.
Yes, and
no prize given.
On that point, George, that is something that's been it was really hard for me when we started doing this work, because I can only read music. Like, I can read music and play something, but if you say, okay, just hear it and freestyle, I could never do that on my harp. But to do that on a drum or to do that with my voice, easy, no problem. I did have to work up to that though, because being classically trained and, reading, it was hard.
I've learned this, that sometimes the people who are more trained, they're judging themselves, and they think that the toning has to sound like, the opera arias, but it doesn't.
Yeah.
I think of it as a journal. You're keeping a journal. The journal has a key and a lock on it, and what's that mean? It means it's just for you. No one else is ever going to read it. So if we approach toning this way, you're free to make even, you know, why do we think that we have to be perfect at everything the minute we start it? You know, these great musicians, these great vocalists, they warm up. Great actors on stage, they warm up for an hour before they step out on stage. So why can't we do that when we're toning? The first 10 minutes of toning, or the first 3 or 4 minutes, is just like, oh, you know, it could be just as strange as we want until we get loose.
Yeah.
We judge ourselves too much.
Yeah, yeah, that's the beauty of it. And on that point too, I've done a lot of, well, not a lot, a couple times I've done body movement with you in conjunction with the toning. And that's just a treat. To be able to move and to embrace certain types of movements. And what it is, all of this is getting outside your comfort zone. I mean, you know, when my husband first heard all this, he's like, okay, this is weird. What are you doing in there? You know?
It's okay to be weird.
Yep, but he gets it now. He understands now and sees the benefits. And, you know, you do have to get outside your comfort zone, but that's the beauty of it. And that's where the healing comes, in my opinion.
And if we can do it with our voice, then it really isn't about the music either, right? It's just about overcoming the nervousness. And now when you go to talk to someone, you're more confident.
Yep.
Way beyond any pitches or patterns, right?
Yep.
It's about the relationship with yourself.
Yeah, and with the body work too, it's just helped me. Oh my gosh. I mean, I've had so much fear about body work and movement, and accepting and embracing my body, especially after I had my son. You know, to get outside your comfort zone, to move in certain ways, it allows you to embrace your body, to get back into your body. And that's such a delightful feeling.
And that movement that we do is actually sort of easier than the singing, because, you know, singing, you kind of like, if you're with other people, you want to connect to those people with harmony or some sort of response, right? Based on listening. But with the movement, you know, you can have your own private experience of what you're doing, and it doesn't disrupt anything anybody else is doing. But yet there's an energy, there's a vibe, right? Of, we have permission to do this freestyle, kind of like, I think of it as Qigong and Tai Chi meet modern dance, right?
Yeah.
It's amazing how our culture thinks that this stuff is weird, but other cultures don't think it's so weird. And those cultures are 5,000 years old, right?
Yeah. Yep, it's the norm.
Well, it's changing. And what we're doing, some people think this is weird, but there's a lot of people that don't.
Yeah.
And there's a lot of people who are ready to embrace all this stuff.
I think they are, because I think that what I'm seeing is that people are just ready to take responsibility for their health and their own happiness, instead of putting it into the hands of an expert or a doctor or someone outside of me tell me what to do to fix this. And I think we're just going through a transition where people are just willing to take responsibility and say, wow, I can heal my own body. You know, I don't have to give that power away. And this is just another modality and another tool for people to be able to do that. And I think it's rad.
Well, keep going with those tracks. And, you know, you don't have to go through the whole program in a big hurry. You can go through and then reach a certain point and then go backwards and then just keep doing them. And then maybe leap forward a little bit and then go way forward and then go way back. You can go in any order at any different day, anytime you want to. You know that.
Yeah.
And then it's good to turn the play along tracks off and just go into the bathroom where there's hard surfaces in a small room and just tone. Without these play along tracks aren't really toning. They're the warm-ups, and there's certainly value in doing them. But toning really is this universe of, okay, there's no rules, but there is listening. and there is listening to yourself, listening to anybody you might be toning with. Do you have anybody to tone with?
Oh yeah.
You do?
My mama.
Okay, good.
Yeah.
Yeah, as long as you guys are in the same town. Yeah, that's great. Always
Yeah.
be on the lookout for toning partners.
I will. Yeah. I need to find some. Well,
You
I'm
only need one or two.
with my girlfriends, and I'm sure a couple of them will want to play.
If you teach them like the first 2 or 3 play along tracks, okay, echo after 2. Okay, I'm going to do some sounds. They don't have to understand anything. They just need to just follow the leader, right?
Yeah.
So you just go e, and then they do it, and then you go le, so, and they do it, and now they're off, and now maybe you do another one, or maybe you don't, and you say, okay, now let's just let go and listen to each other and see where it goes, and take turns sitting in the middle, listening, sing for each other in a chair. If you don't have time for the lay on a bodywork table or lay on a bed thing, and keep your eyes out for good toning partners.
I will. You're a good toning partner.
Oh, well, anytime you're in town, you just let me know.
Awesome.
Okay. Well, thank you for this chat, and I hope it helps other people out there learn about the value of these play along tracks. We group toning. The hardest part about group toning is getting the group together. It's the hardest thing. It's sometimes impossible. So that's why I was motivated to make this track by track play along that you can do by yourself, so that if you don't have a toning partner, you can still tone and be listening to something. There's something about listening. It's part of it, not you in isolation. Of course, you can tone by yourself, but the tracks maybe kind of like put some wind in your sails, and hopefully that helps. So anyway, thank you, friends.
Definitely.
And
Thank you for all your work and for putting this together. It's an amazing tool, very helpful.
Thank you. And everybody, you can go to my website, VocalToning.net. There's lots of information there. You can contact me at info@VocalToning.net with any questions or to set up private sessions. You can order the tapes online there at my store. And so VocalToning.net. And if you'd like to subscribe to my YouTube channel, you know what to do.
Awesome.
Thanks, Leslie.
Thanks, George. We'll see.
Bye-bye.
Bye.